All right, hello everybody. Good Thursday morning. Hopefully you're doing all right today. So our cold front, it moved through yesterday. Now we're going to settle into a stretch of weather where morning's going to be really nice. Already feels much better this morning, but Friday morning, tomorrow is going to start the really good stuff. Afternoons are still going to be warm, but not as summer-like as what we've been dealing with, especially with the low humidity. So highs mainly are going to be like in the low 90s. Now, one part of this forecast that is increasingly problematic, it's the lack of rain. We got an update to our drought monitor today, so I also want to talk about that. I think this is a dry forecast right on through the rest of September and into the first week plus of October potentially. High temperatures today, upper 80s, low 90s. So behind this cold front, it's not so much the afternoons that I think are going to be like crazy enjoyable. It's the mornings. And, these numbers for this afternoon, it's a little warmer than average for this time of the year. But given the humidity will be dropping, which you'll really notice by the afternoon today, I think all things considered, it will feel pretty nice. Here's a closer look at Central Texas. Upper 80s, low 90s today. Austin, probably around 90, 91 or so. So before we get too far into things, I'll just show you the national blend of models. And look, it's going to be a consistent forecast. Highs are going to be in the low 90s at first, then maybe some mid 90s returning as we get into the first few days of October. Mornings are going to get comfortable, and they're going to stay comfortable for a while, mainly in the mid 60s. In fact, I think some of these numbers, even for Austin, could be a little bit warm, and we'll talk more about that. Our front obviously moved through yesterday, came through right at like lunchtime or even a little bit before then. Now the front is stalled down along the coast and over parts of South Texas. So with the front down there, rain chance is going down south of our area. So the front is through. One of the things that we're waiting on, though, is still some of the lower humidity to arrive. One of the ways you can tell we still have a little bit of moisture out there, there have been a few showers over the coastal plains. Caldwell, Bastrop, parts of Fayette counties this morning. Looks like those are starting to kind of wrap up, but we have had some wet weather around. Then one of the other things I want to show you here, let's go over to the models. This is the latest run of the extended HRRR, the high-res rapid refresh. Time is up here. So this morning, again, our dew points, which shows you how much humidity is in the air. The higher the number, the more humid it is. The lower the number, the drier the air is. Dew points are in the 60s, so we're still a little muggy this morning. The good stuff is out here over West Texas and the Panhandle. But watch this as we keep going into this afternoon. By 6 o'clock, all of a sudden, our dew points are down to the 50s, which is much more comfortable. That dry air stays with us as we go into 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. And again, really, we kind of stick with a northeast breeze, or at least an east-northeast breeze for like the next week or more. So we're just going to continue to bring in dry air, and this is going to be the formula, which is going to give us these comfortable mornings. So let me show you the morning low temperatures for tomorrow, for Friday morning. This is also the data off the HRRR model. I still think that some of these numbers might be a little warm. It's got Austin at 65. I think we'll be closer to like 63, 64 tonight in town at Mabry, and then low 60s and some upper 50s across the hill country. And again, really each morning through the weekend and into next week is going to be very similar to this. So I really like having these cool, comfortable mornings, especially in September. Okay, so this is where I want to kind of shift gears and start to talk about this lack of rain, this drought situation. This is the rainfall projection for the next week from the Weather Prediction Center. And you don't have to analyze that one too hard. It's got nothing, the goose egg here over Central Texas and the Austin area. And the reason that starts to become more problematic is because of this. We got an update to our drought monitor today from the USGS. And here in Austin, in Travis County, at least over central and eastern Travis County, we have expanding moderate drought and a sliver here of severe drought. So obviously we know back in the summer in July, there was tons and tons of rain and the tragic flooding over the hill country. Even some of these areas, like northwest Travis County, where some of these areas had over 20 inches of rain in July, are starting to return to abnormally dry conditions. So it's been 18 days since the last measurable rain in Austin. The month of September has produced 0.08 inches of rain in Austin, less than a tenth of an inch of rain. In a normal September, we're just looking at kind of the climatology here. So the bar graphs, this is showing you the average rain over a 30-year stretch from 1991 to 2020. So a normal September brings 3.45 inches of rain. We've got less than a tenth of an inch. And as I showed you, I think that will probably stand. I don't think we're going to have any more through the rest of September. Now, where this could compound and become a little bit even more serious is, well, if we go into October and we continue this, and it's possible, especially through the first half of this month. October is actually the second wettest month of the year on average for Central Texas, only trailing behind May in the spring, which you know is active and stormy. Now, climatology does not mean that's how it always plays out, but where our drought conditions could continue to rapidly worsen is if we keep this up through September, where we're supposed to be getting some rain heading into the drier winter months, and we're still not getting any. That's where the drought conditions could continue to rapidly expand. So just wanted to give you kind of an update on that. In the tropics, we have Tropical Storm Humberto, which has developed, and it's expected to become a major hurricane off the East Coast. And then this area is still a high chance of development, and the center of it's like over Hispaniola, and that will kind of track over the Bahamas. And then Gabrielle's over here going away from the U.S. But these two systems, not a guarantee they have any impact to the East Coast, but it's something they'll have to at least watch. And when you've got two out here in close proximity, they could even kind of interplay off of one another and make the forecast even more tricky. So no tropical trouble in the Gulf or for Texas. And I won't spend too much time trying to analyze that craziness out there. But for folks on the East Coast and the Carolinas and places like that, they'll need to keep an eye on that. All right, extended forecast, 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. This is now September 30th through October 4th. Above average temperatures looking like pretty much a sure bet. So again, I think we're staying low to mid 90s, but the climatology, the averages are falling, so we're getting farther and farther above, even though our afternoons are kind of staying the same. And then here's the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook. Increasing likelihood of drier than normal weather, which is not what we want. And look at this. I mean, so here's the latest run of the European model, which takes us all the way through October 9th. And it's got basically no changes. I mean, morning's going to stay pretty nice. Afternoons will be warm, low 90s, but it has no measurable rain in Austin through the first 9 days of October. GFS model has a few more ups and downs here, but also really isn't showing any major chance for rain. Then I also, as I always do, I end here at the National Blend of Models. Again, I think I feel pretty confident in saying that over the next 10 days, it's just going to be locked in this pattern. Morning's going to be nice, so we have that. Afternoons are going to be not nearly as humid, but still on the warm side in the low to mid 90s. And I don't see any major rain chance at least over the next 10 days. So that's what I'm tracking. We also have some allergy stuff, which is popping up. So maybe we'll start to talk about that a little bit more later on this week. Ragweed season is upon us. So allergy sufferers, heads up for that. All right, y'all have a good rest of your day. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow morning.